I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a minute. I am trying to actually get my camera to work. So that's what we are waiting on. One of them is working. It's the important camera, so, the one that's looking over the work that I'll be doing tonight. The other camera is the face cam, and it is being uncooperative. So let's try something here. Haha! Excellent. Okay. A couple more things to do before I am ready. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful fall. I kind of am. We are going to really just kind of go ahead and jump on in. I don't really have, well, no, I do kind of have some announcements, but not really any major ones. I think NVIDIA GeForce drivers are updating right now. Major announcement is, obviously, I was not streaming at all last week, and that was mostly because I had not a whole lot of homework to do, but significant one assignment, and that was my final paper for my employee labor and relations class. If you don't already know, I am a human resources management major, and I have one more year to go for my degree, so I'm excited about that. But I just finished my labor and relations class with an A, I might add, and I got a very perfect score on that final paper. Thank you very much. And that came at the expense of not streaming all week. So I want to make it very, very plain. Streaming, as much as I love it, and working on this comic, as much as I love it, are going to have to take a back seat to me. I have a 40-hour-a-week job, and I'm a full-time student. So it's a full-time employee and a full-time student. So streaming has to take a back seat for me to accomplish my outside streaming goals. Gummy bears. So that's why there may be, a whole 2-week span or 3-week span or 4, just like I was in June, where I am streaming as often as possible every single day. And then following right after that, I may disappear completely. The reason is because things are getting real at work or at school, and I need to focus on those things. So I'm reaching for gummy bears. I have a little bowl full of gummy bears. So that's what that's all about. Primarily, yes, I wanted to get through the inking process for these pages that I have sitting here in front of me. And that did not happen at all. I inked nothing last week. And it wasn't just because I wasn't on stream. A lot happened last week, and I think you know about what I'm talking about. So I don't want to get into that at all, but just to say, there was a lot going on last week. The day I sat down to do some streaming, I realized there's an assignment that I still have to turn in, and I have to finish it first. So that's why last Monday, when I was really, really looking forward to getting here, it did not happen. And then I need to keep adjusting this camera because it's really not seeing me. Okay. And then the rest of the week just went to, well, you know what happened on Wednesday. And then the rest of the week after that, even on that day, I had to do an interview with a person for my final paper, and the rest of the week was just spent working on that final and just a few other things, and I just did not have the energy to sit down and get in front of the camera and turn this on to, as we say, work on my content. That was not going to happen last week. But we're here. That class is ended. Another class is starting this week. I do have some time now to do this, so that is what we are going to do. So, as I said, I may not always be able to sit down to do streaming, to work on this book. At least not on camera. But I do want to be here. I absolutely do. And so I'm looking at different ways to make the time to actually get here and do this. But as I said, this is going to take a back seat to anything else I've got going on in my life. And that's just kind of how that's going to be for a while. Like I said, I have one more year of classes to go, and I'm a full-time student. That is not going to change. But instead, I will just continue to use and make free time so that I can be here. For the rest of September, obviously September ends on Wednesday. What I want to do is just for the rest of this week is just focus on this book. So we'll get a few pages done tonight. I'm maybe looking at 3 pages done every night. I have 15 pages to do. I'm going to try, absolutely, and make the effort to get as many pages done as possible. But what ended up happening is that without me streaming last week, that did push my goal of completing this book, of completing the inks in that week. So everything else that I have planned for October, I think I mentioned that I did want to do the Inktober this year. That's probably not going to happen because I need to finish this book. So we are going to say that this book is the goal for the month of October. So any day that I am streaming, that I am online and just doing stuff, rest assured I am working on this book. So that is going to be the goal for October. Speaking of goals, I want to make it very, very clear to my friends who are streamers and anyone else who is thinking of streamers and just anyone else in general who is looking to establish a goal for themselves or trying to accomplish something. You have to know what your real goals are. I spent about an hour this morning at work going over some planning stuff with my boss and my other boss. So, and, just kind of going back and forth about what our plans and strategies are, just kind of going over, what things need to happen at my job with, staffing and training and all that stuff. HR management is a thing for me. So that is literally my full-time job. And I love it so much. You will not take that away from me. And it's definitely important to plan these things, and I want to take that same energy and bring it here to anyone who is listening. Please, 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 when you are planning, when you are making goals, don't make far off things and call it a goal. Let's relate it to streaming. Don't say, oh, I want to have X amount of streamers, or X amount of views, or X amount of subscription or subs to my channel by next week. At that point, when you set that up, when you establish that, you are now putting your livelihood in the hands of people who don't care. You care. It's important to you. So what you need to do is make sure that whatever goal you set is attainable, is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Smart goals. Set smart goals. Specific, you have a specific thing you're trying to do. Measurable, like you want to accomplish a thing within a certain amount of time. and there's that timeliness. Achievable, attainable, like it's realistic. Relevant means it's current. It's the thing that you're actively trying to do. And again, we have that time frame. It's like, so when you're setting goals, make sure you're setting SMART goals and you're not putting that in someone else's hand to deliver to you. You have to deliver your own success, your own goals, because no one else is going to. So you've got to do it yourself. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. I hope you can see what's happening here. I think once I actually start to lay down the ink, the imagery will start to make a little more sense. Because right now, we just have pencils. Move you over. We're going to take another couple of you. Gummy bears. We are going to open the water. We are going to ink. We are also going to keep an eye on chat. So hello, welcome to Illustrator of Fantasies. My name is Celestian. We are inking some pages tonight. Sorry, that was a whole lot. That's not what I want. My drinking water here. Alright, so how did we do this last time? So I think, well, what I know is that I need to figure out what's happening with these people here. So, what's very, very important, and I'm going to just continue the conversation. No matter what you're doing, you are at some point going to be playing to an empty room. That is just the reality. If you are a streamer, it is going to happen. You're going to play to an empty room. You're not going to have anybody, especially if you're brand new to it, like I am right now. Yes, absolutely. I have streamed to many an empty room. It's okay, because my goal is to document my creation process. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this. It's not just to show off my work. It's not just to share what I'm doing in the story. It's really, like, I'm talking to myself, but that's what I'm here to do, to document this process. But I also know that people are going to look at this later, so, you know, I want to at least have it be kind of entertaining, halfway. But, you know, it is absolutely important that we do not have this thing going while I'm getting texts and messages from at work. So, but, you know, just, your goal can't be to play Carnegie Hall on your first night. You're not going to have, like, thousands of people in your chat watching you play whatever game that you're playing or do whatever it is you're doing. And it's not even just about, you know, being entertaining. I mean, there's a small portion of that, but it's like, why should anyone care? And why do you care how many people are in your chat? Like, you're not going to have those giant audiences, but what are you going to do? Are you still going to stream knowing you're not going to have those giant audiences? You should. Everyone I know says streaming is a lot of fun. And if you believe that streaming is fun, well, you should be here. You should be doing it as often as possible, as often as you can. Regardless of who's watching. Like, I have people who regularly come by my stream when I'm live, and, you know, we'll hang out. And it's always fun. It's always fun. But I don't do this just because I know they're going to be here. I do this because, you know, like I said, I'm documenting my process. Now, when it gets to the point where, you know, if I start to pull a consistent audience, you know, then yeah, I'm going to know that, hey, you know, someone's looking forward to my work. Someone's looking forward to me being online. And I'll know that, and it'll be great. It'll be a really great feeling to know that I have at least a small audience. But, you know, you've got to work up to that. You're going to be playing on the street for, like, handfuls of change until someone invites you in to play the gig at the coffee shop. Does that make sense? So you're going to be playing to people who are just passing by. You know, they'll kind of drift, they'll stop, and they'll watch you for a little bit. And if you're really good, yeah, they'll start to draw a bigger audience. You know, your reviews will start to go, and people will start to pay attention to you, and just for that one stream. But until that happens, you gotta just keep doing the thing, and the goal can't just be, you know, you going and throwing yourself out there, and then to do what exactly? You do what you do because you enjoy doing it, not because it's not just because it's going, no, not at all because it's going to make you famous. Is that what you want? I mean, I guess. And, you know, it's like, I think we all have our own reasons as to why. But I can't find my eraser. And we all have our reasons for why we come here, for why we do this, but if it's not fun for you, and this is something that I said to a really, really good friend of mine who lives in Columbus, and we were working on some joint projects. We combined our efforts to do shows and everything, so we shared expenses and all that good stuff. He was frustrated with the fuck the fame, I need some hands. Hi, bam, exactly. Like, he was frustrated because of that statement itself. Of, you know, do it for yourself and do it for the enjoyment of the thing. And, you know, he knew why he was doing it. It's like, no, he was trying to make money. Absolutely. And it's like, I get it, dude. Trust me, I do. But what if you don't have that? What if that does not happen? What if no one buys the thing that you're selling, or that you've made? What are you going to do? You've built this whole thing around you selling this product, creating this product to sell to other people. And if no one buys it, what then? If you're hanging your sense of success on you doing a thing that requires other people's input, if that doesn't happen, then yeah, I guess you did fail because you set yourself up for failure. You didn't set yourself up to actually enjoy what you were doing. You didn't set yourself up to have your success itself be solely dependent upon you completing the thing. That's how I look at it. I completed the project. That means I'm successful. Whether it sells or not is irrelevant. As I said at the start, I have a full-time job. Regardless of whether this book sells, I still have a job to do that's not here. Like, you know, and, you know, I commend anyone who will, you know, turn streaming into a full-time thing. For some people, they are able to do it. And you know what? Power to you. Like, I want to be you. Like, I would love that for myself. To be able to, you know, not just turn on the camera and, like, be live all the time, but literally to sit down and work on comics all day. I would love that. I absolutely would love that. Like, to have that be my living. I just know that I'm not there right now, and until I get there, I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing now. I'm going to have fun with the process. I cannot find my eraser. This is not going to help me. This thing. This nub. This is not the eraser that I need. It's the eraser that I have. That's definitely not the one I need. Let's see if maybe I tucked it away somewhere. So how are you, Bam? I see you're in the chat as always. I love it when you are here. I hope you are doing really, really well. Give me a minute while I search and search and search for my eraser. I'm gonna have to go to the art store this week to get new erasers. I don't know where my good one went. It's not fun. I'm gonna have to use this guy here. It's definitely not the one I want. All right. So there's that. So the next step is I need to look at where we need to start. I don't remember how oh my goodness. Okay, I think I may have started with foreground stuff with the inking. Good, thanks. Excited about tomorrow. I'm going to pick up my... Ooh! Pet rats, yay! How many are you getting? Yes, we will have to start with the foreground, I think. We're going to shake up the ink. We're still using burnt umber for this. I'm trying to keep this to as few colors as possible. Start. Ooh, you know what? I don't want all of these here. Move y'all over there. Or we can just paint on the back of this. Get over there too. You come closer. You go there. Okay. A lot of stuff happening off screen. Come up here. And as you all know, I'm probably going to be very quiet while I'm doing this, and that's just the nature of my focus. We'll do some of these detailing. Okay. I'm going to get right up there into that. This tree back here. We got a glob of ink on the brush. Let's clean that off a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I root for anyone and everyone who is making a go at being a full-time artist, creator, influencer. You know, power to you. You know, like, it's you see what it does to people, and I don't mean like the jerks. I mean like the people who are really, really earnest about it, who actually make a go at it and really, really try. And you know, it's rough because the realization is that you are not the only person who's trying to do the thing. And you know, you've got competition, and then you've got all your other things that you're trying to do. And I feel that the people who are the most successful at streaming are people who have successfully brought their audiences from other platforms with them. And of course, we also have to look at, well, what's considered successful, you know, the people who are able to bring in those numbers that are so highly coveted by, you know, so many different people in the streaming community, I guess. Streamers have a community? I mean, yeah, they do. But I mean, you know, people who are streamers. You know, they've brought over their views from other places and were able to quickly mobilize their viewers to, you know, kind of click and follow and subscribe and all that good stuff. Or maybe they were just really, really lucky and really, really good at what they were doing. Could be that too. For me, making it was not necessarily about streaming. Making it was, I get this opportunity to make a comic. That's making it to me. I get to be an artist. To me, that's making it. For me. So, having my camera and this outlet and the ability to do what I do. I think I just went over something. Okay, no, I didn't. Being able to do this at all. This is my definition of making it. This is like I get to do a thing that I think is fun. Now, that's what I try to tell my friend. You know, you have to have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, what's the point? Why are you doing it? Because, as I said earlier, you're not always going to have people buying your stuff. You're not always going to have people tuning into whatever it is you're doing on your channel. And you just kind of have to... You really have to make amends with that before you even start. And find a different reason. Because I will say, you know, just wanting it... because you know people make money at it, don't being an artist, being a creator is not a get rich quick scheme. That's not viable. You really do need something if you're trying to make a living. Like, I will always support anyone who is trying to make a living off of being an artist, of being a content creator, of being an influencer. Any of those things that requires that personal energy and that personal commitment. Like, I will always say, you know what, I'm fully in your court and I fully support you and I want to see you thrive and succeed at this thing that you're trying to do. You know why? Because it's hard. It is difficult. Because this is one of those things where it's 100% based in popularity. Where, you know, if you're not doing the thing that people like, they are not going to stick around for you. Or you also have to realize, like, oh, you play games on Twitch? Oh, you're an artist on Twitch? Oh, you play an instrument? Yeah, you and all these other people doing the same thing. The whole same thing. Is not enough to say, oh, well, for me, it's not enough. Like, let's use me as an example. For me to sit here and say, oh, I make comics. And I make comics live on Twitch. Do you know how many other people do that? So, what I'm saying, like, I was lucky enough to, you know, find a community of people who are super supportive of what I'm doing. And they believe in it and they're excited. And, you know, I get to share that excitement with them as they do their own thing. These trees right here. And that is your community. That is how you build that community. And that is how you really get your first start as an artist or creator. You get people who are interested in your work because you're a person who, you know, supports them and who's really trying to do your own thing. And, you know, people believe in your work and your message and who you are. These are really... I was going to say something, but I'm going to let that happen on its own. I'm going to leave that up to your observation skills. So, goal tonight. Let's go to, I don't know, maybe 10 o'clock. See how many pages we get done in by 10 o'clock tonight. Anyway. You know, I've made some really, really great friendships with other streamers. People whom I love watching them go through. Like, one of them is on right now, and he's playing... Well, he was playing Overwatch a minute ago. But, like, I love talking to him. He's just kind of amazing. Another one I think that everybody knows is Geek in the Pink. He's kind of been the facilitator of our group, the founder and the person who's been bringing us all together. I love him. He's amazing. And everyone else that, it's so funny. I say that stroking his ego. But, lots of people will give a shout out to Geek. Everybody. Solid Rain is the other person I'm talking about. I really don't know what game he's playing right now, but you know what? I love talking to him. He's really good people. And so many others, and I'm just like, I will be here for all of you. Because I believe in you and everything you're doing. And, that's not like, oh, I support you because you support me. It's like, no, I legit am interested in seeing you succeed at this. So I'm always going to be watching, whenever I can. Like, I want to see you, I want to see you grow, and I want to see that happen for you. Meanwhile, for me, I'm just like, I'm happy just to be here to do what I'm doing right now. And it's not that I don't believe in myself, because I do. I've had some success as a comics artist and as a comics creator, as an indie comics creator, especially in my own city here. But, I do this for me. Because to give this power to someone else, to say to myself, well, I'm only doing this because I want, people to buy my book. Well, what if they don't? What if no one cares? What then? Is it worth doing if no one cares? If it's not worth doing if no one cares, then honey, it's not worth doing. It's just not. Go find the thing that is absolutely worth your time, that is absolutely worth you doing. We're going to close the cloak up a little bit. And, once you've made your mark and, you've found your community, you found your people, those people who can be supportive and 100% absolutely proud of you. Once you actually do have that, then you can share that joy with them, but don't make them the reason why you continue to do it. You started a thing. You have to see it through, but seeing it through isn't about, trading off the reason or changing the reason. You need to still be the reason why you do what you do. The joy of the thing should still be important. If it's not, you're doing it for no reason. It's not doing anything for you. Streaming is not the job that you can just walk into your office, turn on a camera, and just do it, and just call that your job. It's not. You have to give a whole lot in order to make this a thing. So, kind of going back to what I was saying about setting goals. Just gonna drop a little of these twig things everywhere. And our grasses. About setting goals is that, what's your reason for it? I will put myself out there and say, you know what, there was a time. Well, and it wasn't even that long ago when my goal was like, oh, I want this, that, and the other. And I had to stop and think about it when I was challenged about it. But even the challenge itself, when someone delivered that challenge to me of like, well, maybe you should change your goal because that's easily doable. And, I said to him, like, well, it's easily doable for a person who's already accumulated a following of that size and bigger, because that was my goal. Like, oh, I want, like, X amount of followers by so-and-so. And I'm like, it wasn't until I thought about it earlier when our favorite streamer, Geek, had said, hey, shout out to all the people who, I forget what he said, but he was like drawing attention to the fact that, some people were upset that they didn't actually achieve their goals. And, I get that. I'd be upset too if, this thing I had, kind of set myself up for just didn't happen. But, I started thinking about, I'm like, why was your goal, your follower count? Why was that my goal? And so as just kind of, that's what started this whole thing. I said, I think we all need to reevaluate what our goals are here and make them a little more realistic. I think seeing our goals fail is going to teach us so much more about goal setting, because all we really did was establish wishes. We just said, well, I want this thing to happen. It's like, honey, that's a wish. That's not a goal. What's your goal? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? And I think, we all really needed that reset moment, this reset moment, to say, hey, is not really gonna go down like that. Writhing Virtue, thank you for the sub. Hello, my friend. How are you tonight? My friend. I'll give you a shout out. Thank you so much for the subscription. How are you? You caught me as I was mid-rant. Fortunately, cannot really stay too long, but thought I would start off on the right foot and fit. Oh, well, thank you! I appreciate it. I'm glad you came by anyway. But doing well. Thanks for asking. I hope my evening is going very well. I get to do the thing I've been wanting to do all week last week, finally, which is sit down and work on these pages. It's really all I wanted to do is just I just wanted to throw away all my homework and everything and just say, let me just be here because I just want to do this. This is all I ever really wanted. But I get to do that now, so I'm happy. Got homework done. Doing good. How's everyone? Well, I hope everyone's in chat is having a good time. I don't want to talk over anybody. I feel like if there's anyone here who's been listening and watching, they're probably just listening to me rant too. So but the weight of artwork is troublesome one to carry. Well, sometimes it's that need to create something. That's what drives me the most. But no, I think it was definitely time to just kind of, for everyone, my group, to just kind of reassess what our goals were and say, you know what, we need to... And that's why I said we really need to reevaluate what it is we're trying to do. Because we're not going to hit those marks that we think we need to or that we should in order to measure our success. We need to be present for what is happening right now. And we need to look at whatever those goals were, because, you know, we achieved a couple of things, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh great, I've managed to get this, now I want to go to this. And it's like, you gotta take the steps to get there. What were you doing that got you to that part that you hit? Like, you know, everything is an achievement. Everything is a success. Everything is a win. So how did you get the wins that you got? Oh, well, I did this, that, and the other. Oh, keep doing that. Keep that up. Remember, your ultimate goal, yes, is this, but your more immediate goal should be for you to continue doing what you're doing, for this to be viable for you. Like, what are you trying to do? When you sit down and you turn on your computer and your camera and you decide, I'm going to pick up your brush, or my instrument, or the controller, or my mouse and keyboard, when you decide that that is what you're going to do, what are you doing? Like, why do you do that? And the challenge really should be about, like, oh, well, to really get you to think more about how to set those goals. Wish I knew how to clip things, because this is some... Well, I mean, it's like, I'm an observer. I see things and I ask questions. So even if I myself was contributing to, you know, wrong-headed thinking, I step back from time to time to just kind of like, actually, maybe that could have been a whole lot better. You know, maybe I could have done something different. Maybe I could have said or done this other thing instead of whatever was I had done. So, you know, I really hold myself to this standard as well. But it's, what I'm saying is that it's just not enough. It's not to just, you have to do more. And it's not just because your audience demands it. It's because you should demand it of yourself. You should have a reason to do what you're doing other than the accolades of other people. Like, I'm sure some people have found success by making themselves important to other people. And if that's how you're defining success, and if you can make it work, go ahead and do it. But you're going to find that's a struggle. It's a struggle. You're not always going to win. It's going to be painful. It's going to be slow. It's not going to make any sense. You're going to be wondering why other people are more successful at the thing than you are. And I'm going to tell you the reason why is because they managed to actually find a reason to do what they're doing. That has nothing to do with anybody else. That's why they can continue to do it. Lots of us, I've found, especially the people that are streaming now, they did it because they wanted... You know, the whole thing with COVID this year in 2020. 2020 has been 2020ing all over the place since March. And people were just kind of burnt out and just kind of bogged down with just whatever was going on. And they said, I need to talk to people. I need to relate to people. I need to be involved and engage. It's that sense and that need for a community around them that they built that self around them. A few years ago, though, there are other people who said, you know, I have a friend of mine who did, then they said it was fun, so let me just go ahead and do that. So, you know, and they start and they're like, oh, well, you know, this is fun. This is enjoyable, but meh. I'll just do this thing, and I'm really good at it, so I'll just, continue doing this. And they have just steadily built themselves a following and a community about that. But I promise you, those successful people were not doing that for the sake of building a community around them. The community built around them because the community loved what they were doing. The people who follow them because they like what they're doing. Heart of the crowded community is a fickle one. That sounds like a tiring way. It really, really is. It absolutely is. And it's like you can't base your entire life around, what someone else may give you, because if you don't get that, well then, where are you? Where are you in life? Where are you in your own... You've basically made it so that someone else has to provide your joy, your sense of accomplishment, that it has to be given to you by someone else in order for it to be real, and it doesn't have to be. These are things that you can do yourself, that you can give yourself. Like I said, streaming is not one of those jobs where you can just kind of go into the office and just do it for 8 hours a day and then come out and earn a paycheck. It is not that kind of thing. You have to put in the effort in order to get there. So, if you're not putting that effort in, you're not going to get anything. Alright, so that is this page. Like I said, my goal tonight is to see how many pages I can do in the 3 hours that I've given myself. We've got one down so far. Looks like it just kind of cut itself off there. That, and do this back here. I remember there was another instance of, this particular topic. But it really just comes down to what the things you can give yourself. And how, you can't really rely on other people to do it. I promise you that's no way to live. Alright, so this is page 1. This is illustration number 2, but this is, the second illustration for the book. So, I like my camera setup. What I would love is for it to be a little closer to actually fill up more of the... For this image to actually fill up more of the page. So maybe if we were seeing the image at about this size, instead of like way back here, I think it would look better. But you know what? We're gonna take what we can get. I got the thing to stand and do what it needs to do without falling over or knocking anything else down. So that's that. We're gonna move that off to the side. I'm putting those over there. I can sit there. And see how being close would really help make it pop. Absolutely. And it's like, I do all this detail, and I'm like, I really want the detail to be seen. Alright, so... especially for world building. All those delicious details do wonders for. Absolutely. Absolutely. That going over there. A little extra with the detail lines on this tree, but it's okay. It's okay. It can be a little extra. Some of these details will just kind of... Now, I try to... For this book, I'm trying to keep it like... stroke light. I don't want to get into a whole lot of heavy, I gotta put this line here and that line there. And that's not my look. It's not the thing that I want to make as a thing for me, but, you know, it really needs to read, and I want... You know, as long as I'm going to be on camera, obviously I need to make sure that my line work is visible. Like I said, I'm trying to document this for me so that I can see how I did a thing. Getting a little off path. I think there's a person right here. Yep, there is. I wonder if I'm making anyone think of winter right now, which I hope I am. Maybe not our winter, because that could be pretty rough. But at least, you know, for people who enjoy the season of winter, hope you're enjoying what I'm doing right now. Is there a person over there? No, but I think there's one right in here. Fine with that, just like that. I am just following the shapes that I've already put in. It's quite comfy. Also stepped out for a moment and that rain has brought the chill. Oh, yeah. I believe it. You know, it's so funny. I got out my car today when I got home. I'm like, I was standing on my porch. I'm like, wow, it really is fall now. It's one of those moments where, you know, you just kind of look out, you know, at your neighborhood. You're just like, the color of the everything in that moment really just kind of hammers it home. Yep, it's fall. And that's one of those times when you absolutely know that, yep, season is here. Those are the moments I live for in the fall. That's what I like about fall, is like when you can tell just by looking at everything around you. Not just because of the leaves on the ground, it's just, it's a feeling. It's a sense. It's a smell. It's everything other than, you know, the calendar date. I mean, that's how it works for me anyway, so I may be a special case, who knows? They are leaving little trails. I don't think I need to put too many more trees in here, but I do need to get this area. So one thing I actually am doing is, like, I can see on my screen just kind of at a distance. So it's kind of got this natural step back effect that's happening, so I can actually see where details are missing and what kind of needs to be filled in. So I am digging that. Let's go ahead and put a tree back here. I do love the coloration of the foliage, the foods, and the sensations, like you said. That is something I enjoy about winter. There's a serenity when it is snowing, where there's a decent amount on the ground, and Mother Nature is telling us, shh, be quiet for a bit. Yeah, I can dig that. I will not miss the snow and the ice. I'm definitely not looking forward to that, but you know what? I can dig the fall. I can dig the fall. Summer is actually my favorite season. But I do definitely dig what fall brings. Driving in winter is not the best. When I drove a K car, there would be 0.00003 inches of snow on the ground, and I'd still slide everywhere. Oh no. Yeah, this will be my first winter driving. So that's going to be a fun experience, I'm sure. I was actually thinking about that on the way home while driving in the rain. Boyfriend Nathan told me, like, you know, make sure that you, just as a preparation, like, make sure you increase your follow distance. You're not, you know, you're keeping your speed and everything under control. I'm like, I get that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a thing. I have seen some things happen in this city when the ground is dry. So I'm a little afraid, but I think I've gained at least enough experience, at least, to be like, okay, I think I know I need to not that I'm an aggressive driver as it is, but, you know, just wanting to be careful more and, you know, just kind of make sure that it doesn't happen that way. So yeah, my first winter with my car is going to happen this year. We're gonna put another person right down in here. There we go. Some buildings down here. Let's make some smoke. Let's be really dramatic. There we go. And we're going to put more buildings in. Should be a whole little village down here. Settlement. Driving cautiously is the best. I never really understood the need to drive like a maniac. Even when you're speeding 5 to 10 miles over the flow of traffic, you're really not saving that much time to your destination unless it's long. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like, I still have people who are, like, just on any normal day who are literally so close to me, literally on my butt. And I'm like, why? I have often made the decision, I'm doing the speed limit, so if you need to go faster than that, then you need to go around. That's absurd. And then, you know, I've had my moments where I'm just like, why are you driving so slowly? At least do the speed limit. So, you know, I've seen it. I've seen it. Let's go ahead and add more houses back here. It's just some little triangle shapes. Do little things like that. Get the horizon a little bit. Just gonna put some mountains in here. Do that back over here. Okay. And then I think I want another tree and maybe more trees down here. Okay, mix that in there just like that. So what would you say is your favorite type of landscape to draw? Forests. I have this thing for drawing trees. So, I don't know, it started when I was younger. There was always a tree in every image that I drew. So, and I realized I think I just like trees like that. So whenever I can draw some type of forest, I'm so right at home. I need to get some details up in the sky. Ooh, 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 ooh. Giant glob of ink. There we go. So let me do my step back. But yeah, definitely forests. There was I once did a series of ink drawings that were just trees. You know, just really hammering in my love for trees and like all the branches and everything. I've done a couple of other just pencil sketches of trees, you know, just kind of theorizing about what the trees actually, what else they resemble. So, I'm a tree person. I notice you have drawn a lot of them. Any particular regions or forests you've drawn inspiration from? One of my friends has a whole slew of images. Not really. I just draw the vague shape of a tree. That is usually how I do it. So, like, I have an idea in mind. You know, I've done a little bit of research for samples and things, but no, mostly it's just like, just draw the tree. Draw the tree. You know, in my head I've got some ideas of what else it needs to look like and what needs to be there, but mostly it's just draw the tree. This one's going to be a little complicated. Sounds like good advice as well, just draw the tree. I mean, honestly, yes. But with reference. And I definitely have not seen enough trees to be able to draw them from memory. It's just, I have a vision in mind of what I want the tree to look like, and so that's what I draw. Which is its own problem, yes, I know. I don't need anybody else to tell me. But that's just where we are. I think maybe in another life, I would have been a person who studies trees. What is that, a botanist? Maybe part of it. But in another life. Maybe. Well, for all I know, I could have, in another life, I was a person who lived in the forest. So there. So, you know, just kind of drawing from whatever memory I have, or whatever visions I see. we are going to take a quick break. I want to step away for a little bit. When I do take breaks, I do run the 60-second ad. I may take a little longer in my break. I do want to just step away for just a quick moment. So we're going to do that. If you are here, I think if you're a follower, you're probably just going to see the ad. If you're not a follower, then you won't see the ad, or it works somehow, some kind of way. So we're just going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to take this break right now. I will be right back. Promise. Tiny black cat in a dark room is begging to be sat on, kicked, or stepped on. So, I am back. Hope everyone stick around, enjoyed the ad. Maybe you guys will have to let me know like what ads you're seeing on my channel. I don't have any control over them. Like, I can say, oh yeah, I'll run this ad, but I'll take an ad break, but like, we literally have no control over what ads actually get played. So I think I've seen some people say, hey, Twitch, can we at least like select which ads do get played on our channels? Can that be targeted ads? Like, if a person's playing a game, can they get an ad from the game or something like that? And I don't think Twitch is at that point where they can offer something like that. Oh. At this point, I am trying to get in these pencil details that I need to be here. Welcome back. It was the one about the documentary on voter suppression. All in. Oh, nice! So I guess you actually got to see the ad. Huh. I thought subscribers were immune to that. I do want to see that documentary, though. Like, it looks super interesting. I'll have to look it up, like where it's... like where it can actually be found. So, 2 pages so far, and what I want to do is just kind of... So I decided that I wanted them to be looking at the town itself. So I need to get some idea of what the town actually looks like. So we're going to just draw some fun shapes in here. That's not been no biggie. Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, I do not have Amazon Prime, so I don't think I can watch it. Oh, is it on Amazon Prime? No. I am going to have to check that out when I get a chance. Like I said, I'm definitely interested in it. The angle for this town is all wrong. So, I think that... No... Y'all, I'm struggling. Internet sleuthing skills need sharpened again. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it looks interesting, and I want to see it, so I'll have to figure out how I can actually do that. I drew so many random shapes for this town, just as like things in the distance, that maybe these are too big. Maybe that's what's wrong here. Y'all, I miss my eraser. I really miss my eraser. I want it back. I don't know where it disappeared to, but I want it back. I haven't cleaned off my desk recently, so not in a major way anyhow. No, I really haven't cleaned off my desk, so... just draw in all of our random shapes in here. You know, we're just gonna draw what we kind of see. The town's getting destroyed anyway. Who cares? So we're just gonna draw this stuff in. We'll only see it for like maybe for like this and the page before it. So honestly, so that may have to do it for that. Clearly, I need work on my building drawing skills. Who knows? Maybe I do. That some lines in there. Yeah, honestly, I can say I'm just happy you can see the full drawing as I do it, and not just pieces of it based on what I can actually fit under the camera. Do you or did you ever use music to help inspire at all when drawing? I know this is a fairly common way to grease the creative wheel for many. Occasionally I think I did. Like, it was really just kind of like background music for me. But there was the music from a game I used to play. It was the Icewind Dale 1, the first Icewind Dale video game. Well, maybe it was the first one, I don't know. But I loved listening to the soundtrack while I wrote. It was just so amazing. Like, I still, in my head, I'm still hearing that opening track, and it was just such a good, it was just so good. Like, it really, really got me into the zone. Lately, not really. I think the last time I really, really listened to music while I was painting was I just put Tori Amos on shuffle and just let it go. And it got me through that entire run of things that I was trying to do. It was great. Like, her voice is just amazing. And it was exactly what I needed at that moment. But lately, not so much. And like that, when I did that with Tori Amos, it was back when I was in Philly, so that was many years ago. A little more than a decade ago. I can't believe it's literally been almost a decade since I moved to Columbus. That's wild to me. I guess probably because I didn't think that I would be in this city this long, and here I am. You know, damn near 10 years later. Actually, 9 whole years later, I'm still here. So, you know, it's one of those where does the time go kind of thing. Move back a little bit so you're not staring at my poof. Put this tree here. As a bit of time indeed is probably for the better. Sometimes I wonder if music doesn't hold people back creatively, like it serves more of a crush and inspiration. No, I mean, for me, everything that I need to create is already in my head. The main thing is I don't need anything to grease the wheels. I just need to get out of my own way. My problem is that, and this happened last week, which was really the only day that I actually was able to get on to stream. I was too busy editing my thought process to actually just let the image come to me. You know, I was too busy thinking about what it actually should be and just not really letting it happen. And it ended up being really, really stressful to try to get anything done. So, I mean, I don't know that I don't have that problem with using music, but it's not the pressing problem. Like, I can usually, like, if I have thought about what I'm doing enough, I can usually get it out of my head. And, you know, the music, just listening to music, especially the right music, really just kind of helps it come out a little more easily. Or just kind of frees my mind to think of other things or to focus on other ideas, so I'm not, you know, editing my mind, my thoughts. Oh, yeah, I like that. I've been, you know, drawing enough my whole life to, I think, be able to just kind of get stuff out without having to stress out about it too much, unless, you know, I'm like, oh no, maybe I should do it this way instead of that way, or oh, what if it's this, that, and the other. And I realized that was mostly just, I hadn't really given much thought to what it was I was trying to put down on paper. And so I was doing a lot of editing of, you know, the story itself while trying to draw it out, knowing that I hadn't written anything. I'm gonna put some more trees over here. There are no people out and about here. I just noticed that there's no people in this town. Like, it's just kind of here. We'll draw some people in a minute. There can be a person, and maybe right here can be another person. Here, we'll do a little person right here. Another house box way back here. A very bare tree right here. Fill some more areas of houses and whatnots. Here. My phone's about to die. I gotta plug that little baby in. Let me plug my phone in. Plug in the phone. another shape back there trying to emerge. Fill up with more people here. What else should a little town have? Oh, street lights. Should definitely have little street lights. There's a whole lot of people milling about for the nighttime. Maybe I went about this the whole wrong way. We're here now, though, so we're just going to keep on going. We are just going to keep on going. I think it should be approaching a done state. I don't want to do too much more to this. Grass. Yeah, we're gonna have some stairs in here. Just show some height and texture. Town. There we go. Alright. Even put maybe the town has some trees within it. Okay, I think that's good. I think that actually looks kind of warm and homely right before it gets burned down. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put that over there. Mouthful of gummy bears. I got 3 pages done in 2 hours. It's really, really good. Even with break and having to stop. So I feel like I'm kind of hitting a nice personal record here. I had originally wanted to have my streams going for 4 hours, but I will say that as long as I have things to be up for in the morning, it's never going to be 4 hours. And I promise you that. Not unless I have nothing else going on the next day. And even then, that's not a guarantee. But, you know, I know that I can get a decent amount of pages done within that span of time, so nice progress. Well, yeah, it really is. Like, that's not what I wanted. Because it's just, you know, I'm just going over the drawing, really, in just a few pages, so. I want you to see his face. Only one who looks back. Now, we need to make you the same height here. I actually think I need to call it here. I'm a little worn out. And I kind of want to have a little more time to relax. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to call it here. We got 3 pages done in 2 hours, maybe with a little extra rest. I should be able to kind of keep it going. I don't want to push myself any farther than I really have to, and honestly, I think it's time to stop. So, 2 hours. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it at 2 hours. So when we do come back, whenever that is, for the month of October, because this is what we're going to be working on, we will jump back into this page right here. So let's take a look at what we've actually accomplished tonight. So we've already had that one. So we have page 1, the opening. You open the book and, oh look, here we are with page 1. And we have the next page here. So really this is like page 2 and 3. Since we're doing 2-page spreads. This is page 2 and 3. Here's page 3 and 4. And page 5 and 6. So 3 really nice drawings, I think. And this is the other thing. I'm like, I really don't want to overdo it because at that point it'll start to lose quality. I'll lose focus. I'll be dozing off over here. Thank you, Writhing Virtue. I appreciate you coming through and subscribing, absolutely. So, got some prep to do, and like I said, I don't want to push myself more than I absolutely need to, and I don't need to for this right now. We're going to get this done in October. Everything, like not just the inking, but literally the coloring too. That is the goal as we are making goals right now. The goal is to complete this book this month, this very month. So I should be able to do that. We're doing really well. It's not even October yet, but you know, let's see. This week I'm looking at getting the inking done. If I can get all the inking done this week, by next week I should be ready for the coloring, which will take the longest. I will count it done when all pages are colored and scanned. Scanned and colored, yes. Colored and scanned, yes. And then I can, at that point, I can just start manipulating things and know what needs to be done. So thank you, everyone, for coming by, for Bam for being here, as you always are, my dear. Thank you so much. Writhing Virtue, thank you for the subscription. Everyone else who's just kind of hanging out and lurking in chat and listening to me rant, I really appreciate that. I welcome you as well. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate that. Gotta support somehow best I can. You know what? That's always welcome. Yeah, that's always the thing. So thank you, everybody. It is 2 hours in. It is 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am signing off. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Good night.